Hey everyone, Final here. Today, I'll be showing you my quick and easy paint scheme for the Legio Custodes Venatari Sodality. So as I'm sure you're all used to by now, I'll be painting this up in sub-assemblies. I've got the main body, legs, and tactical rock, the jump pack, the head, and of course, the arms. I'll be painting up both weapon options, the Venatari Lance, as well as the Kinetic Destroyer and Tarsus Buckler. I've primed everything with Chaos Black, besides the head, which I primed with Grey Sear. Alright, let's get started. I'll be working on the gold armor, but before I can do that, I have to base coat everything using Rhinox hide. I want the Rhinox hide to go everywhere that the gold will go, but I'm not going to try to be overly neat. This is a quick and easy tutorial after all. The brown base paint provides a really nice undercoat for the gold. Next, I'll be painting on the gold using Retributor armor. I'm going to try and be a little neater with this, but if it gets anywhere that it shouldn't, I can just paint over it later. I do thin down my Retributor armor so that it doesn't clump up as much, but I may have slightly over-thinned it here. That's alright, nothing that a second coat won't fix. Speaking of which, I'll usually leave about 10 to 15 minutes between coats for metallic paints. I find that if I go too quickly, it'll pull up the previous layer and make a whole mess. Now that I have a solid layer of gold, I'll wash all of the gold using Reikland Flesh Shade. I want it to pool up in the recesses, and I'm trying to not have it pool up on the flat surfaces. If it does start to pool up where you don't want it to, just use your brush to soak it up or move it around. Once all of the gold is covered in wash, I'll let it sit for about half an hour. Once the Reikland Flesh Shade dries, it gives the gold a nice warm tone, but it's pretty dull and matte. I'll be bringing back that brightness with a heavy dry brush using Retributor armor. Just make sure to avoid the recesses. As you dry brush, you can really start to see the shine coming back. Once I'm done with the heavy dry brush, I'll do a lighter dry brush using Liberator Gold. I want this to catch the raised edges and brighten them up even further. I'll be dry brushing against the grain, so to speak. Look at that, the gold is looking really good now. There's one more dry brush to do, but I'll be saving that for a little bit. Back to base paints, I'll be painting up these tubes using Iron Hand Steel. I'll also be using it on the jump pack, on these feathers I guess, the ports, and other small details. Once that dries, I'll wash all of the Iron Hand Steel on both parts using Nuln Oil. Once the Nuln Oil dries, I'll be doing that last metallic dry brush that I mentioned. I'll be doing a light dry brush using Stormhost Silver on any details that I want to stand out a little bit more, so I'll be doing it on the symbols on the armor, the Aquillas, and any other high points. And I'll be doing a heavy version of the dry brush on the feathers. I really want to brighten them up, as they're the main draw to the jump pack. And that's actually it for the jump pack. Nice and simple. I'll be putting the jump pack aside, but not the Stormhost Silver. I'll be using the Stormhost Silver as an undercoat for the gems. Following that, I'll be painting on some Soulstone Blue. While waiting for that to dry, I actually need to circle back a little bit. I'll be painting the bottom and back part of the Tarsus Buckler using Iron Hand Steel, which actually finishes up the Tarsus Buckler. I'll also be painting Iron Hand Steel on these little heraldry shields. This is where you can add some uniqueness to your Custodes. I haven't figured out what I want to do yet, so the Iron Hand Steel will be a placeholder. I'm also done with the bulk of the metallics on the main body. Now for the under armor on the legs and arms, I'll be using Mechanicus Standard Grey. I believe the box art actually uses black, so you could use Corvus Black instead. After the Mechanicus Standard Grey dries, I'll wash it all with Nuln Oil. If you want it darker, you could also use Black Templar or Basilicanum Grey. Speaking of which, I'll be using Black Templar in the joints and for the soles of the boots. I'm using Black Templar here so that it can still look vaguely metallic. If you want it to be solid black, you can use Abaddon Black or Black Legion. Now moving on to the leather, I'll be painting all of it using Doom Bowl Brown. That includes the various straps, the boots, the belt, and the gloves. I'll then wash all of the Doom Bowl Brown using Agrax Earthshade. And once it dries, I'll do a light dry brush using Scrag Brown, just to add some texture. And finally for the main body, I'll be painting up the tabard using Mephiston Red, washing it with Berserker Bloodshade, and then doing a light dry brush using Evil Sun Scarlet. Once I'm done with the tabard, I'll go back with Retributor Armor and hit any details that I missed. It's also a good time to fix mistakes. And that's it for the main body. I still have the weapons, head, and tactical rock to paint up, so let's go through it one by one. Since we've already finished the Tarsus Buckler, let's work on the Kinetic Destroyer. I'll paint the whole thing using Lead Belcher. Once that dries, I'll wash the metallic parts using Nuln Oil. I'll then paint the casing using Black Templar. Once all of that is dry, I'll do a light dry brush over the whole thing using Lead Belcher. That'll brighten the metallics up a little bit and add some texture to the casing. If that's too bright for you, you can use Eshin Gray on the casing instead. Just to finish it up, I'll add some Runelord Brass to the coils, and then wash the coils with Agrax Earthshade. And that's that for the Kinetic Destroyer. Now moving on to the Venatari Lance. I'm going to start off by painting the grip area using Abaddon Black. Then I'll do a light dry brush on the grip using Eshin Gray, just to add some of the texture back. Now, besides the eagle on the end, I'll be painting up the rest of the metallics using Iron Hand Steel. Once that dries, I'll wash the blade and the exposed metal using Nuln Oil, and I'll paint the casing using Black Templar. Once those dry, I'll do a light dry brush using Lead Belcher, or Eshin Gray on the casing if you prefer. I'll then finish off the blade with a very light dry brush using Stormhost Silver. Then for the eagle and the other gold details, I'll be using my standard gold recipe: Retributor Armor, Reikland Fleshshade, more Retributor Armor, and Liberator Gold. And there we are, the Venatari Lance is done as well. I'm just going to do a really simple skin tone recipe. Maybe someday I'll make a video for them. I'll start off by painting the skin using Rakarth Flesh. I'll definitely need 2 coats for it, maybe even 3. Once I get a good layer of Rakarth Flesh, I'll wash it all with Guilliman Flesh, thinned about 2:1 with contrast medium. I'll give it a little bit of time to dry, and then do a very light dry brush using Kislev Flesh. This will highlight any prominent areas on the face, and also blend in the skin color a little bit more. For the headgear, I'll use my gold formula once again. So Retributor Armor, Reikland Fleshshade, and then a heavy dry brush using Retributor Armor. I actually won't be doing Liberator Gold this time. To finish off the details on the head, I'll use Lead Belcher for these tubes, and then a little bit of Blood Angel's Red contrast paint. Like I said, nice and simple, quick and easy. I don't normally include the tactical rock in my tutorials, but this one is pretty prominent. There's a couple of ways to interpret it. I'm going to go for a bent steel beam in a pile of concrete rubble. I'll be painting the beam with Lead Belcher, the dirt or rubble using Mechanicus Standard Gray, and then I'll wash all of it using Agrax Earthshade. And then I'll do a heavy dry brush using Dawnstone over the rubble. And that's it for the Tactical Rock. Now, with a little bit of assembly and basing magic, I painted up some of the new Venatari Sodality. These were really fun to paint up, and I'm glad that they were able to be painted in sub-assemblies. The Sentinel and Custodian guards that were recently released are really hard to paint up as sub-assemblies, so I was worried that it was becoming the new trend. Thankfully, that didn't happen with this set. Whether you're painting your own Venatari, or using a similar scheme for your Custodes, I hope that I was able to help you out. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.